Welcome to the Lone Jack Totally Off Track podcast, a family ran show with myself, Amanda, and my husband, Nolan, and my brother, Matthew, that is, well, a little bit off track. We will cover a wide range of topics. We don't take ourselves too seriously, and you shouldn't either. Thank you for being here, and we hope you enjoy the show. It's funny because Nolan watches Cletus. I don't know if you watch any of the other guys really.
Rarely.
Yeah, but anyway, because then Shane and Carrie, they watch the other guys, and I'm not sure they watch Cletus. But anyway, so when Nolan and we're all together, they're all talking about Diesel Dave and Heavy D and whatever and Cletus, and I'm just sitting there
You know Cletus because I've made you watch
well,
a few.
I know, kind of,
and
but when you talk about his new videos, I have no idea what you're talking about, and they're talking about people, and then I don't know. I guess the Heavy D or Whistling Diesel, he wanted his woman to do an OnlyFans or something, and then she did, and then he was mad, and now they're divorced.
Something like that, I think. Yeah.
This just seems like that's more my style. And if we're going to talk about what's happening, I prefer to know that information than what they're doing with.
I don't care about in a bottle.
I don't care about souping up the trucks and stuff. I just want to know about the drama.
Well,
tell us more about how you hoard out your girl, man.
Have you seen the Killdozer?
I'm familiar with that guy.
That's up his alley.
Whistling Diesel came somewhere up in Montana, Wyoming, bought an old dozer like that, and trucked it back through that town, and parked it in the middle of the town for a while, and then took it back to Kentucky and built it up armored it up like that guy and everything. So I don't know if he has other plans for it or not, but.
That happened in Colorado. I know that they don't really talk about it in that town. It's been that was in the mid-90s, right?
He had this pretty sweet old 1980s GMC or something that he drove up here, and then he drove that back, and he was driving that pickup around the town asking people about it, if they were around when it happened and what they knew about it, and then he just gave that pickup to some dudes there in that town and then left.
Hell yeah.
But Cletus, he comes up to Lewiston every year and goes and jet boats on the Snake, and
we saw him at the St. John boat races too 2 years ago.
He races the sprint boat races, did.
If you want to just watch a funny or interesting video on YouTube, just look him up. But anyway, that's why his shirt says Cletus, because he entered to win, because he had souped up a F-150. And so it's, one of those things, buy a shirt for no chance to win a pickup. Yeah,
no chance to win. But I think I had 5 chances out of...
I think you did. But...
however many 100,000 chances there
some bastard in Saudi Arabia bought 80,000 T-shirts and probably got the pickup.
Well, they had the winners on. I haven't watched the video yet, but...
Anyway.
Yeah, that's fair. But I went to the store today. They need to make a law that you have to have a certain... Trump is signing all these executive orders. He's got to sign something. You have to at least have 2 aisles open with an actual cashier. Especially, there's so many people here, they don't speak English very well, so they have to switch the program to Spanish. And then they're paying with crumpled dollar bills. And they don't work. Crumpled bills don't work.
Yeah.
And it's listen, I need heavy cream, eggs. I'm in and out of the self-checkout in 3 seconds.
Yeah.
Beep, beep, my number, my card, I'm out.
Yeah.
And it's always old people and people that don't speak English. It's the people that don't speak English, they can figure it out. They push Espanol. They know what's going on. But the old people that pay with the crumpled bills, it's lady, I almost want to give her my money and be here, just give me all your cash. I'll pay with my card. We'll call it even. I've seen you put that 5 in 4 times. It's not going to happen, honey.
It's not taking it.
Yeah, baby, that one ain't going to do it.
Yeah.
But that was my trip to the store. like, damn. Sunday is bad. That's where all the old people. That's when they go.
I saw today that it had a list of all the presidents and how many pardons they gave during their presidency.
Mm-hmm.
And Biden gave over 7,500 pardons in his 4 years.
What? That's a lot of pardons.
He did a lot of kind of sneaky ones.
Well, yeah, because we only heard about the ones that he just did. Well, I mean, I did, but I didn't. I don't. I get too upset. I get too emotionally involved, and I just can't have that. So Nolan lets me know the things that I need to know. Otherwise, I just stay away from it, because otherwise I let it ruin my day, because I have no willpower to not let it ruin my day. So
I hear you. I stay disconnected. Otherwise, I get too involved, and then I start stocking up on like guns and ammo and food again, and it's like, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
I get hit by a bus tomorrow. It's not worth worrying about, really.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, here we go.
It's not.
How
do I turn that off?
George W. Bush. That's going to be our volume.
Okay. Hopefully that's going to be bad
Bush in jail.
Anyway.
George W. Bush.
If you listen to this, fuck you.
From 01 to 09, he did 200 pardons. Barack Obama from 09 to 17 did 1,927. Trump, his 4 years plus now, did 1,740, but most of those are probably, he just pardoned all the January 6 people, you know.
All the pro-life people that were imprisoned.
Yeah.
Biden, I saw that, yeah.
In Biden's 4 years, 8,064.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even think of 8,000 people.
You know, I'm maybe we can get political. I'm not, what am I trying to say here? The Jan 6ers, if you're dumb enough to be honeypotted into entering a federal facility and get thrown in jail, you shouldn't procreate. I think they can be let out, I guess, but I think that we should fix them. That's like big old honeypot. That's like letting a cop like talk you into fighting him, and that's just assaulting an officer. You know what I mean? He's like, yeah, we can fight, you know.
Everyone else is going in. Let's go in.
Yeah. Fuck it. They open the doors and like, come on in, people. It's like, yeah, you're all trespassing.
Yeah, everyone thought, this will end well.
Enjoy prison.
Yeah, Hannah's old boss's husband was there.
Yeah, he was on a list, a federal list. That he was being watched all the time.
Uh-oh. Somebody stole Nancy or some AOC's shoes. Somebody had a foot fetish and got a hold of her shoes. That's disgusting. Somebody broke into my house and took my work boots. I'm freaked out. They just stole the computer. They just took the work boots. Oh, it smelled like good. It smelled like a good French bread, man.
That is creepy. I'm having some weird thoughts.
Don't say that. Don't say that. I'm talking about my feet and you say I'm having weird thoughts. That's fucked up.
Well, no, I mean about people that they would come in and steal your work boots. Like the thoughts that are running through my head of those kind of people is just creepy. Anyway. Yeah. Yeah.
You had a pumpkin.
Like Melania having people go through her underwear drawer. That probably makes more sense.
Oh, yeah, down at Mar-a-Lago. That's the most... we used to do a lot of the maintenance work and we'd have to shut the water off. I swear, ladies always put their undergarments in the back of the closet, right where the access panel for the water main was. And so then it'd be like, we got to move all those clothes out of the way to get to the water, main to do our repairs and everything like that. And it was always like that last 19 hangers was like the bras, the panties, the nightgowns, everything like that. And it was like, and nobody would be home, so you got to take them off and put them on the bed and be like, they know we touching all this shit. And it's like, listen, lady, we don't want to be fondling your undergarments, but we got to get in there and do the work.
Yeah.
Did you leave them on the bed or you put them back?
That's what we do. We'd leave them on the bed laid down because we didn't want to put them back and then because you know how your closet's organized. Put them back and then we just have them, we leave a note, be like, hey, we had to empty the closet to get at the stuff.
Yeah.
This is there or this is like you and Patrick?
Yeah, me and Patrick. No, it was bad. Having a 16-year-old dig through your closet is bad. Just some dude digging through your closet, touching. I only touch the hangers, especially now.
Sure.
With cameras being everywhere.
Yeah,
oh man, I just assume that there's always a camera watching.
You just want to kind of be like, carry the hangers by the very, like, you're just like,
We just did a backsplash in a place, and yeah, they had cameras up on the upper cabinets looking down.
Yeah. I know. I don't like being watched. Especially since you can just, like, log into them anytime. Like, it's not like something you'd have to go back and watch or something.
You can just be watching.
I don't know. They can just, like, click it and watch.
Watch
and
it live.
It's just creepy, okay? I just don't like being... I don't like being watched.
I don't care. We went into one place, and the guy met me there, and it was his girlfriend's apartment. And I was swapping out some faucets and stuff like that. There was a camera set up watching. It was pointed, almost like the one I'm using, pointed right at this kitchen sink where I was going to be working. And he goes, and he's talking, and he goes, the guy that lives here is just really, really particular. And I saw the camera, so I was like, oh, that's okay. You know, particular customers, they know what they want. I'm fine with it. You know, and he went over and unplugged the camera. I was like, dude, you can leave the camera plugged in. I don't care. And he goes, she doesn't need to be watching you. His phone started ringing like 8 seconds after. Like, it barely got the words out. And he goes, the guy here doesn't want to be watched. So I'm like,
you're like, don't bring me into this.
But, dude, I said it was fine. You lied. And I could hear her getting loud on the phone. And he talked to her for a minute and hung up. He goes, you're okay. Just be clean. I go, dude, if this gets you in hot water, I go, just leave the camera plugged in. Like, I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to do my work. I'm going to do a good job and leave, whether I'm getting watched or not. And he goes, it's okay. And I go, dude, I don't care. I go, this was on you. Don't be telling her I don't want to be watched. I could care. Don't put this on me.
Putting words in your mouth.
I'm trying to think. There was somewhere. It must have been where I cleaned, but I cannot remember where it is right now. They had a camera. But they were weird. I cannot remember now. But I remember the people were, like, weird about everything, and, like, it was more than just being watched. Like, they were just really weird about stuff. And so I would, like, move something in front of it accidentally each time, set down my dusting spray bottle or something in front of it, just because it was strange. But I cannot remember where that was.
I remember you telling me about it, but I can't remember.
Yeah, it was so long ago.
It's gotta be bad for kids knowing their parents can watch them all the time, because like I learned how to get stains out of the carpet, and if there would have been cameras, mom and dad be like, hey, we know you spilled. I remember one time when we were horse playing, and we were supposed to be eating upstairs, and I flipped over a plate of pancakes, and we got syrup all over. We got huckleberry syrup all over the carpet, and you and I spent the next 2 hours getting the huckleberry syrup stains out of the carpet, and then we moved the rug over a foot so mom wouldn't know. It's like if you had a camera doing that, I wouldn't know how to get stains out of carpet now. I remember, and we couldn't drive to go anywhere, so we couldn't go get more sprays. We're like, shit, we gotta work with what we got.
Yeah, and now she has a whole carpet cleaner. That would have been a lot of help when we were kids.
Exactly. We're like,
we just whip that out.
Yeah, you're like, if you use vinegar and soak it, or baking soda. We're like, and so, but if we would have had cameras, that would have been no fun.
Yeah.
Or we wrecked the 4-wheeler a couple of times. If Dad would have had it, he was like, how did this dent happen? I ran into a hay bale. No, I was going 60 and flipped it. It's a miracle I'm alive. It's a miracle the 4-wheeler still runs. I don't know if I was going 60. I remember I was going fast, and I hit the feeding tire.
Bumped it into a hay bale.
No, I flipped the 4-wheeler on its side. I went flying. It was icy. I slid across the ice, but Patrick flipped it over.
Yeah. That happened a couple times, because for sure out in the pasture, but most of the time then it would only tip on its side, and there was enough snow that it really wasn't anything.
Oh, you just flipped it back over. It didn't let it stop running.
But that's what happens when you're trying to do your redneck sledding, and you have to be able to get those sharp corners to get the sled to swing.
Yeah.
And so sometimes it tipped over.
And sometimes you're already up on 2 tires, and when the sled's weight would catch you, that extra, 100 pounds pulling on the back corner would be enough just to put you on its side and spit you off and slide through the snow a couple feet. And, come help me! You pull it back over. Yeah.
But I think it is just Mom and Dad's 4-wheelers. They're just drawn to people wrecking them because somebody wrecked the 4-wheeler, almost killed himself, and then I heard about it later because Wendy let it slip that something had happened because someone wasn't going to tell me about it. Would you like to tell Matthew about this?
I vaguely remember this happening, or have I not heard this?
he was clearing the trails out on
Sand.
mountain because they have to clear them before it's like it's a
before you
mountain
ride your
bike
bike
trail,
on it, right? Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's like a fully wooded area, so branches, limbs, trees, everything
I know
falls
what
in
you're
it.
talking about. Yeah,
So you got to
get everything
clear it
out.
first.
You got to build
because
your ramps, no holes in it.
Well, yeah, and if you start at the top by the bottom, you're hauling butt. So if a tree is in the way, you pretty much would die. Anyway,
bail off.
And there was one part where there was a tree across, but they cut it kind of like four-wheeler people cut it, where they don't actually cut it so that the path is clear. They just cut the very little bit to, so you can squeeze by.
Just enough to squeeze by.
Oh, yeah. And I remember that from when I was up there helping him clear, because I think he went up either a couple weekends in a row or a couple days in a row. And I went the first time. And it is tight. And I was like kind of freaked out. Is that not it?
Remember those people were coming down.
And it wasn't right there? I thought you said it was right there.
I don't think so. I hit a rock. It might have been close to there, I guess. I can't remember that.
I thought it was right there.
Somehow these people were coming down, and they went to step off the trail to let me by, and somehow
But he thought, the people have way more power than I have.
I kept going. Like, I was going to go by him, but for some reason I went over just like a little bit to the left, and the front wheel hit this rock that was coming out of the bank, and it was popped it over and down the bank, and it just like flipped down the bank, and I bet I was like 10 feet down there. Four-wheeler was coming. I was like, I'm getting squashed by the four-wheeler, and it landed upside down against a tree with me underneath it.
And he was holding it
up, and then these two people that were hiking came down and held it while I rolled out from underneath it.
And then
I do remember hearing about this.
And so then what were those other guys doing? Were they mountain bikers or were they just hanging out?
They were just hiking too, which was
they
weird.
Were,
I think they were even from like Spokane or something.
EMS.
And they actually had some come-alongs in their pickup, so they went all the way back down to
because like this embankment he's talking about is like steep. It's not like something you just drive back up.
Like we got the four-wheeler flipped back over, nothing wrong with it, nothing broken, no like physical damage to it whatsoever.
And he only had a little bit of a scratch on his arm.
It was wild. And they came back with come-alongs, and we were able
to that baby up.
Pull it because it was draining a little gas, so me and the other guys had got it flipped back over so it didn't drain fluid anymore. And then we got it pulled back up, and I rode it back down, and my cousin Malin was waiting for me down there, and because I was just running up to make sure there was no new trees down. I'd got there early, and then I went back and loaded the four-wheeler up, got on the mountain bike, pedaled back up the hill, But
was there an underwear change involved?
No. But now that cat's out of the bag.
Hey, things are going to come out of the bag around here. Matthew shared that we spilled huckleberry syrup on my mom's carpet, and that's probably worse than you flipping their four-wheeler. So
I don't think she knows still. I don't think we ever told her.
Not anymore.
Oh, no. We never told her anything.
No, that's okay. When Dad and I went hunting, I told him some stories he hadn't heard before. I go, the statute of limitations is up, right? And he goes, yeah. And I go, yeah.
Like, what did you tell him?
I threw an Xbox controller when I was pissed off at a game and dented the wainscoting really bad behind the one couch they have upstairs. It's bad.
Yeah.
And I remember I just moved the couch. Like, I remember I was pissed. I threw that controller, ruined the controller, and I was like, ooh, oopsies. It was bad.
Whoops.
And I remember I got some they had the stain. So it's like a dent, but the stain kind of matches. I forget what that stuff was.
Yeah.
They even used a pencil. I don't remember.
They're coloring it in.
Just make it dark.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, I think I did.
Make it dark, look like a knot or something.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Anyhow, but I told him the statute of limitations is up, right? He goes, that doesn't mean I won't get pissed. Like, I'll go home. I don't care. You can be as angry as you want.
Right? Like
Was this like just when in the southern Idaho?
Yeah. Just in we didn't go hunting in September.
October.
No, it was October.
Yeah.
Oh, it's September.
You guys are going to be hunting this September, though.
Heck yeah. Uncle Gene says he's ready.
Nice.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Yeah, I have a rain jacket.
Yeah, I got him a nice rain jacket for Christmas. So
because my brother told me that they were coming out with these new regulations about the PFAS, the PFAs.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently that's what
read them and weep, kids.
Oh, yeah.
That's what makes rain jackets good, even though it's not something we want on our bodies.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
Not
what,
on your
have it.
skin.
You
not on
never
your
have it
skin.
against your skin, anyhow.
Right.
Yeah.
And so anyway,
But you need a rain jacket to be waterproof, and that's what really helps it be waterproof.
They were going to be changing those regulations or whatever, and at the time, which he had told us that when several months ago, half a year ago in the summer,
probably in June.
And so at the time, Sitka was the only company that had a plan for how to deal with that or make new stuff that worked good. But no one else did. So she got me a new nice Kuyu rain jacket just before the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
It was so hot last time I was up there. I never got my rain jacket out.
I know, yeah, but if it starts raining, I want to be prepared.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully it's just nice, but
which you guys went in August and we're going in September, so
who knows?
Yeah, no, it's gonna be brutal cold.
It's gonna be
colder.
colder,
I know, brutal, but it's
probably
cold.
not brutal. It'll be colder and bigger chance of probably rain.
Mm-hmm.
And the grizzly bears, it's closer to winter, so they're gonna be a little more clued in this time.
And if you actually leave an airfield,
hopefully you guys don't get eaten.
There might be you get more in somewhere else, maybe more rain than an airfield.
Don't worry, nobody's gonna see it. I can't talk about it too much. That was part of the deal for going this time. What were you talking? PFAs and life jackets? No, not life jackets.
My legs will probably. I didn't get rain pants, so.
I don't have rain pants either. Do you have hip waders? I have Dad's old pair.
No,
those seem like. Did you guys take those last time?
I did. They never left my backpack.
And they're heavy, so.
Yeah, it's a lot of weight to add to your pack, isn't it?
No, mine are hip waders, so they come up to your thigh and then they just clip onto your belt. They're not like full chest waders.
Oh, okay.
And they're just, mine are full rubber, but you can get them that are like the vinyl nylon stuff.
Yeah.
Those would be handy because everything you touch is wet. Well, it's all brush. I don't know. It depends where we go
in the
this
brush,
time.
And if you have to cross a creek or something.
Mm-hmm. Depends where we go this time. I really hope it looks more different.
When we were in Alaska fishing, someone in his full bib waders fell into the water, and his bibs were soaked the rest of the time.
Mm-hmm.
He has red hair and a mustache.
Thanks for mentioning my mustache. The children are safe around me, I swear to God. But yeah, no. Those were women's size. I was too small for children, so Dad got me women's size. Remember that? Maybe that's
children's. Children's was bigger than women's.
Remember that they were women's.
Yeah, I'm confused.
They were women's size.
You were too small for kids' size?
I don't know if that was why. I remember I had women's.
I think he was too big for kids, but too small for men's, I think.
Maybe that's what it was. And I remember I told Dad, I said, Dad, I really don't want women's waders. And he said, doesn't matter. They're not like pink. I remember I was really embarrassed that they were women's size. And he goes, we can cut the tag out. And then, of course, we got up there with all the people we were fishing with. He's like, yeah, Matthew's too big for children. We had to get him women's. And I remember when you're like 14, that was like the worst thing.
Yeah.
Wearing. Yeah, I'm just a little guy, so still am.
Now you're still in women's?
I still wear women's underwear.
Oh.
They're more... Never mind. Cut. No, that was funny, I guess. No, but it was fun. Yeah, I'm trying to think.
Amanda about got arrested in an airport.
Yeah, no. The Phoenix airport was like that, kind of. We were trying to go to a different terminal. There's like B and C terminals there, right? And all the restaurants were at C terminal. We were going to get on the tram, and there was a big, thick yellow line on the floor. And I've seen this before. And then, airport workers also, I remember sounding like real assholes. They don't speak very good English, and they're never helpful. And we went and talked with this guy, and we said, hey, do we have to leave security to go to the C terminal? Or is there another way to get there? And I don't know. He gave us like a roundabout question. He basically just asked the question back, and it was funny. Like, I guess we're stuck with whatever crap they have in this terminal.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
Yeah.
It was not good.
were with Nolan's cousins, and so in the, well, I'm guessing it's in like a lot of the closed kind of communities, just like in early Bible times. Couldn't find a spouse, just go marry a cousin, sort of a thing. And so we were talking about like in Bonners and some other places, they marry
you would want.
second and third cousins and whatever. And so I was like, okay, who's one of my second cousins? And then he was like, oh, it would be them. And I was just sitting there going, I just would never be that desperate. I just would be like, I'm good being single. Like, out of however billion people are in the world, to just go to your second or third cousin is just very bizarre. I mean, I'm sure we're related somewhere because he's German, we've got German, but it's like a ways down the line. Like it's not third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. I'm guessing we're far up.
With my cousin, and they someone did a family tree for them, and it went back where they came to be seventh
cousins
or eighth cousins, and
seventh cousins from Prussia. They started in Prussia.
Yeah, but like they were siblings. The siblings were in like 1870 something or something like that in Prussia.
Yeah. So anyway, so
like someone had a lot of time on their hands to do some family tree stuff there.
Yeah, my boss's wife is from Southern Idaho, and we had dinner with them, and I said, what's your maiden name? What part of Southern Idaho? Because there's like a really good chance you're like a sister, a cousin, something through the grapevine.
Yeah.
My boss's eyes, a deer in the headlights. No! I go, you're probably my uncle or something. She said some name. I go, if you would have said, she was like real Southern Idaho, like border Utah, not central Southern. I go, if you would have said anything like 100 miles north, I'd say you're my aunt. Who's your mom? Who's your dad? We is related, son.
Yeah, that's funny.
Then, like with me, I get questions when I have to write down my mother's maiden name because it's the same as my.
Because he's a double Schmidt.
Yeah.
Listen, you don't have to go far when your sister's pretty. That's what I always said.
We have to cut that out. I guess I'm not that pretty. My feelings are equally hurt, and I feel okay about that. So,
come on.
On that note, what do we want to talk about today?
But no, the big thing I was wanting to talk about with you guys. So, today is January 26th. There's all the big fires in California. I know that the climate there is very different. It's all like high shrubland and grassland and stuff like that. I remember when the mom and dad used to live out in the country, they did a lot of time and prep for like forest fires. This kind of changed your guys' plan? Are you thinking about that? Because I know you guys live in the deep timber.
Well,
so the reality is if there's a big fire, there's really not a whole lot.
Well, there's a couple things. Yeah. So like mom and dad, I think, take it to a total extreme that we won't be going to. But, our land was logged 20 years ago, and then they burned it. And that's where all the regrowth comes from. And so right now we do have lots of, like, for sure, tamaracks that are growing this far apart from each other. And so if you got little trees growing this far apart, I mean, if one catches on fire, they're all going to catch on fire. But also, they're not going to grow much bigger than this big around, which is what they are right now. So we have lots of that to clear out, just so that the trees are actually healthy. I mean, I don't even think our mind is that in case there's a forest fire. It's just for if we ever want those trees to be used for anything, they're going to need to be able to grow for the next 50 years. And then with the burning that happened whenever, like, instead of replanting, they just burned. We have so much brush, rose bushes, ironwood bushes, ferns that are just taking the ground, which is where, like, all the ladybugs live under them now. So there's not actually a lot of grass because there's so much stuff on the ground between pine needles and then we just have so many bushes. So we are planning to get all that cleared up. Like, we will get the trees
8 to 10 feet
apart, keep the ones we want.
Cut.
And then from there, we'll be able to either do it ourselves or we know a guy that does brush clearing. Because once you get it cleared up, then you can just get your skid steer with a brush clearer thing on it, and you can just, like, drive in between the trees and just shred the brushes down, and then after that, if we get it raked up and cleaned up, grass will hopefully grow, and then we'll have pasture instead. And of course, around the house will be more. I mean, it'll be cleared away from the house, but we're also going to have a metal house. So,
Metal
I mean, not
roof,
that it won't light on fire, but like if an ember does float over, it's not just going to whoosh.
Metal roof, metal siding, so that helps.
And so, but yeah, on both sides, because our lot is kind of narrow, on both sides we do have very thick trees. So even if we did clear every tree out of our land, it's not going to do anything because our property is long but narrow. And so, there's...
So you have fires.
Yeah, so
300 yards on each side. It's just going to be like nothing's going to live in there.
If those trees are lighting up, and even if we have our ground cleared up, if the trees are lighting on fire at the tops,
then there's nothing you can do.
But like if something comes along the ground, we would have that handled somewhat close to the house at least.
But also, I mean, if we knew that there was a fire starting, we'd get
you probably have
we'd get some chainsaws out, and a lot of our trees would be going down for sure along whatever edge it needed to be on. But because we don't have really a lot of big trees. I think when we did count, well, like on the back part of our, it's kind of like on a hill. So like the back, what is that?
The back 40
side.
Is that what it is? West, back west, northwest
side. Corner. Yeah.
Right? Anyway, there are some big trees.
Yeah, they're really big.
But like besides that, if you count them, I think there's like 15 tall tamaracks amongst them, and by tall I mean like the height of the other trees around.
I hear you.
Otherwise, they're just 20-year growth, so they're just little.
And
trees.
on the north side, there is like a road that goes up that's just grass, and so you could have like that could help as a you put a fire line there or whatever.
That's what I was. The big thing that stops the fires for their shrublands is, like you said, getting in front of it and fire breaks and stuff like that, and then trying to put out all the fires that start up, because it's starts quick, ends quick. When it's burning shrubs, it doesn't have the nuts to burn for a long time. But like you're saying, in that big forested timber, I mean, once it's going, it's
that's why it's so important to keep it cleaned up on the ground, because if you have just big trees and you just have like, I don't know, grass or, sorry, the dog, I don't know why she's barking. Anyway, if you just have grass, you can light the grass up and it will burn so quick that the trees will all be fine. But that's why it's so important to keep it all cleaned up. And that's what we're not getting on either side of us for sure. Like, for sure, the property next to us that I would like to buy at some point if I had money. First of all, they have enough timber that it would pay for it. I'm pretty sure.
If you logged it, like cleaned it up, not stripped it, but just cleaned it up nice, I'm pretty sure you could pay for some big trees. The buying of it.
Yeah, they have some big trees over there. But the trees are getting to where they're big and they're kind of close together, and so there are trees that are just falling over, and they're big trees, and then they're just left there. Which rotting trees are good for other growth and stuff, but if you have so many just piled up, all that is kindling. I mean, that would just light up and then it would just be gone.
Especially when it packs up, hunting, every now and then you'll get in that stuff where it's almost like a canopy above you, and then all the trees that were like 40 foot tall when they died, and it's just like a lattice work. Even when it's raining, there's 4 inches of dry pine needles, and it's like, man, you start a fire in here, it's pouring rain, but this thing is on fire with easy.
We've only tried to come walk on like our northwest corner like once or twice, trying to come down all the way along our north property line, and it's impossible to walk in
between brush and then all the down trees. Like, there are so many trees that would have been right on the line that tipped into their place, so there's huge holes with roots and all kinds of stuff.
And then all those ironwood bushes growing up into everything.
Yeah, the ironwood bushes are the worst.
Because they're invasive.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But they are, they were used as good stuff. Like, I guess they used to be used as...
It's strong. It's strong wood.
They would use them for arrows and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
They kind of... What was that noise? Is that on his side?
I'm sorry, that's my dishwasher discharging.
Oh, okay. I thought it almost sounded like something was getting attacked outside. And I was like, what on
Maybe
earth?
Bonnie was barking for a good
Maybe she
reason.
is.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, it's gonna be a lot of work, but I guess like yeah, Dad for sure thinks we just need to get it cleaned up like right now and
Oh, I'm sure he
do
thinks we should cut
everything. And
everything.
yeah, and we're definitely not going to do that because that's why we moved out here. Well, for
Mhm.
sure, me. I
We're
love
not-
the trees.
We're not anti-tree.
I do think that you actually have to do something though. You can't just let the trees and the bushes and everything grow wild, which is where I think a lot of people get in trouble in some of these states that are catching on fire.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Oregon, whatever, they don't do a lot of cleanup of their forests, and so once it's on fire, you can't get it out.
Oh,
So I think it is important to clean it up, but it's not the trees that are the problem. It's all the undergrowth and stuff. And which for sure for us, the undergrowth doesn't really do much for us. I mean, our goats eat it, but like if we ever want to bring our horses out here or anything, we're going to need the undergrowth to turn into grass. So we got to clean it up anyway.
Because our neighbors, they have, I mean, and they've had it forever, big trees that they've just had spaced out and cleared, and they have to mow underneath it all.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So we have a lot of work to do, but we also hopefully have quite a few more years to work on it. We don't need to get it done, tomorrow.
Oh yeah. Well, and it's might not be this year, right? You guys still planning to put a house up, or at least get
Yeah.
started on it?
Yeah, we're hoping that the house gets done this year for sure.
Hopefully.
And I guess there's not really a lot stopping us other than us, our lack of getting things done, I suppose, because we've doing it off grid, it was a little harder to find someone that wanted to loan on that for resaleability.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's a word, but I've made it a word.
Resaleability is probably a word.
Because we're gonna get a well because we don't. Our creek is not all year around, like during the winter.
Seasonal, right?
Yeah, if it was all year around, it'd probably be a little different. But anyway, so we're gonna do a well for sure, but we're not doing power, for a lot of reasons. But they look at that and they're like, how would we be able to sell an off-grid home? Like, well, I don't know. I don't think it'd be as hard as you think. But anyway, so we finally found somewhere we can get a loan from. And then with everything, it's been nice that in the last, I don't know how long barn dominiums have been really a thing. 5-10
Probably
years.
I was going to say 5 years, I think, is when I started hearing about them.
Yeah. And so it's really great that someone started that, because I know 5 years ago, like a barn dominium wasn't considered like like a house.
Mm-hmm.
And also a lot of places wouldn't loan on them. And so I'm glad that's been all settled because now they're considered just like a house as long as they look like a house. They can't look like a airplane hangar or
I hear you.
commercial something. Yeah.
Just a shop.
Which, and the guy at the bank's like, all you have to do is make like a front porch look like a front porch, and then it looks like a house. And I'm like, oh, well,
it'll have windows up front, so.
And so once we get all that, like we have the building plans, like the shell of the building from the pole building place. They've worked with us on a kit. We got windows picked out. And then a lot of it's going to be really simple, which is what we wanted for a house. Just simple but functional, but also big enough for us to be able to have family events, which I don't know.
So
depends on the day.
The shell, is it just a shell, or are they selling you like a whole
Just
package to frame walls? Okay, so you guys
I'll probably will get that from there, the whole
Yeah,
interior.
but he said
because
he'd
they're going to have a
frame
truck come out there anyhow, right? And drop everything. Might as well
And
get
so,
a pallet of 2x6s. And
hopefully, once we get the shell up, though, we'll start living in it, and then
we'll sell you this camper.
Yeah, sell you the camper. Or we can just leave it right here, and you and Maddie can just live in it instead of an apartment.
I tell you what, I'm a city creature now. I like this apartment.
You don't want my goats trying to break in on your...
Some people were shitting their dogs right in front of my front door. It's like 20 feet from the street. And I was like, they're like trying to get their dogs off the sidewalk. And I go, no, I just live right there. And they go, what? I go, I live right there. I go, I need to get by you. I was like, I don't do dogs. Dogs don't like me. I go, you're blocking the sidewalk and I need to get to that place. I was like, damn,
you don't want to be able to You don't want to be able to walk out your door and walk 20 minutes and see a cow moose and 2 twin calves.
I would love that. I would love that.
That's what we did this afternoon.
And I think it was a bull moose that we heard.
Yeah, because
as we were videoing, and
I grunted at
we were kind of grunting to get her to stop,
and
she did. But then, like at the end, it sounded like I couldn't tell if it was her making the noise or if it was a bull moose, which we could see in the snow. There was, gosh, I stepped next to one of his footprints. It was as big as my foot with his what are they called?
Dew claws, right?
Yeah. Dew claws. Okay, that's what I thought. But then I always think of dogs, and that's different. But I guess it's the same on them. But with his dew claws and his feet, it was as big as my foot. It was crazy. So his footprints were in the snow, and I thought it was maybe him. But, I mean, we didn't really hear him. But also I was scared because I was like...
Yeah, she started heading back down the road.
I was like, okay, Mr. Moose, I wasn't trying to hit on your woman. I just was trying to get a picture. Anyway.
I can't remember the last wildlife I saw.
But that was like half a mile or 3/4 of a mile up the road here.
They have crazy amounts of coyotes and foxes and all kinds of, I guess, like small predatory game, right? I've seen more foxes here than I ever have in my life in Idaho.
In town?
It's just in town. I'd be like, oh, that was like oh man. It was one of those towns. We went on I-70 west, and I was doing a job on the edge of this golf course, and there was just like a silver fox in their front yard.
Wow.
Just like going for rabbits. There's rabbits everywhere. Like,
yeah. Which
is good to see. I like seeing the wildlife, but I also like, I used to see a coyote and everybody was trying to pile out of the pickup to shoot it. That was, now it's just like you see it and you're in traffic.
I've seen a lot of foxes in Pullman, especially on like, kind of where you guys lived on College Hill or whatever that's called.
Oh yeah,
by that house that I cleaned. Anyway, I've seen them just crossing right there. Like deer have, right there, foxes. I'm like, this is like the craziest place, but I mean, it's not that crazy because it's near the edge of town, which is just fields. So of course, but kind of it gets into the trees. But I'm like, I hadn't seen a fox, and I started working there, and it's just like foxes and more foxes, and most of them are the red ones. I don't know. We probably have silver ones and stuff, but I don't know.
We ran down there to Dismore's one night for a beer run, and I saw the biggest raccoon I've ever seen in my life. It looked like 4 basketballs put together. It was this big fat raccoon. It was trying to climb up a tree. I was like, oh my God. I mean, I didn't have my phone, and I was buzzed, so it was probably, half the size I remember. But I remember looking at that raccoon, be like, man, I wish we'd come back here and kill this thing and get it skinned out. It'd probably be a freaking throw rug, dude.
It's probably eating someone's dog food every night.
It probably was eating dog food.
With all the college students, their trash is probably good.
Oh, I'm sure it gets in the dumpster and just gets wild.
That raccoon was thinking, man, I am blessed to have been born right here. Yeah. This is awesome.
And then leaving Zips one night in Moscow, we saw a family of raccoons who was trying to cross that main road. And there was dead raccoons everywhere. It was a whole family. There was blood all over the road and raccoons spinning out. And Maddie was crying because we just were coming out of the drive-thru. I had a milkshake. I was laughing. The raccoon's dead. I don't know. That's how I deal with trauma, I guess. There's just a family of raccoons bleeding out in the middle of the road.
That's awful.
It was funny.
We saw a family of raccoons in the road. It was on like a highway, but we saw their eyeballs, so we slowed down and did not run them over.
Was it not just on the dirt road over here?
Oh, okay. I don't think so. I think was it between Palouse and Garfield or something? I thought it was over there. Anyway, we saw like all these little shinies, and then this is like the mama and the babies, and I'm like, I gotta video this. So I have a video.
You're not supposed to think it. I know they're a pest, but they are kind of cute creatures. And I keep seeing the videos on Instagram of people that domesticated them.
Yeah.
Like, dang, a domesticated raccoon would be pretty cool. I think they stink, though. I think they're like skunks. They have that gland. They smell bad. Yeah.
I just always think of in Brother Bear 2 with the little trinket, He comes out after the waterfall and he takes the trinket up into the thing, and then the gal's climbing up the tree while the 2 bears are like trying to distract the raccoons. And it's the little baby guy, and she finds him and he's hanging on the little trinket, and she like wags him off, but he looks so cute. And then he starts crying, and then he starts screaming, and then all the raccoons attack her. Yeah, that's what I think of when I think of raccoons, is the little baby guy before he starts crying. Because
little
he's
ball
just
of
so
fur.
little, and he's just so cute with his little eyes. Yep, it's fine. You guys think I'm nuts.
That was an aside about raccoons. Sorry, we were trying to tell you about houseplants. So yeah, you guys are going. So it's going to be a pretty big pole building, what, like 40 by 30. Sorry, I detracted the convo talking about coons.
60 long by
so
40.
The main part is 60 long,
wide.
but 12 feet of that's just an open porch.
Mm-hmm. But it'll be covered.
And then the main part is the main roof line will be 60 long by 28 wide.
But the actual house will be 48 long by
54 wide, I think.
Yeah.
Or 52 or 50.
Yeah, 54 wide.
Okay. Like the main part will be 28 wide and then 12-foot wide wings on each side.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
so
how big of a roof? The center part, will you be able to have like a loft up there?
Yeah.
That's where all your feet's going to go.
In the very back, we're not going to have it over the full thing. Well, a loft. It's not a floor. Over just like the kitchen part, which will come out
12 feet.
12 feet. Because we're keeping it, they're 12-foot trusses. So we'll keep
the loft. That makes sense.
Right?
The posts are 12 foot.
Not trusses, the posts. Anyway, so the loft will come out 12 feet, and that'll be like, if you were to look straight down, that would go like halfway over the kitchen island.
Mm-hmm.
And then the rest of it will just be open. And then
open, because I remember we talked that the wings were going to be kind of where all the accoutrement was going to be, your living, your plumbing, everything like that was going to be there, and then like kind of like a big great room, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the center.
Yeah, when you walk in, it'll be like living room, then basically living room, dining room, kitchen.
Yeah.
Let's see. So why a big great room? You trying to tell me you have a bunch of friends, or you trying to circle the wagons with the family?
Well,
what's your thoughts?
Mainly family.
Mm-hmm.
Because everybody, I think family's important. Especially like I think about Nolan's family, and he has like some family here, but they're all they're spread out. Mostly, Kansas,
Mm-hmm.
Texas, whatever. So I've realized how blessed we really are to have all of our people right here. But nobody really wants to get together because everybody's so weird about their houses, and my house isn't big enough, and this and that and this and that. And so like that was one of the, I think, first things that Nolan and I ever talked about, building a house, not knowing exactly what kind of house, or even before we had land, like this would just be, we knew that we wanted to build if we were going to move from our house in Potlatch. And it was just that it needed to be functional. And so having like that big space, everybody's going to fit, and it may be a little chaotic, but we'll figure it out. And so not having separate rooms probably does make it a little louder, but it'll be fine.
Get you some insulation up in the bays.
Yeah. We'll have stuff, rugs on the floor and stuff on the walls.
Wow, damn it.
Yeah. But, because I just want everybody to get together, and I think saying my house isn't big enough is such a stupid excuse, because, families were getting better or getting together when they were living in little 400 square feet houses, and they were piling in and just being a family. But now everybody's weird about stuff. You
had me and Maddie and Mom and Dad and Grandma and Grandpa over for dinner when you guys lived in Potlatch, and that was a little house. It was fine. Like, you're not staying there for a week. You're having dinner and you're talking and it's. And it's not a hotel. You're not paying $500 a night for it. You're just there to love on each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And so, especially thinking about like you and Maddie, if you guys choose to have babies, and I don't know how many babies you're gonna have. So I want to have room for that, because hopefully we have babies, and so have all the cousins over, and they can just go hog wild, and there's just going to be room for them if they're inside. Hopefully, for the most part, we have kids that like to play outside and just go wild. But
hopefully they're outside kids.
But, if we need to have them inside, there will be plenty of room for them, plus us, and it just will be great. Because if you can build enough space, why not do that? It's not going to be a mansion.
It's really not that. It's actually
it's just
going to
be
big.
It's going to feel like a mansion to us, going from the 500 square foot house in Potlatch to our camper to this, but it's not going to be gigantic.
It sounds big, but when it's up there, like we had it strung out, kind of, it's not.
Yeah.
It really isn't that big to us.
But
other people, they see it like, that's huge.
But it'll still be plenty of room for all of us. Because, yeah, the other thing that Dad's going to help me with is we are going to cut down one of our big trees we have. And Dad's going to help me, and other people will have to help too, probably. We'll have to find somewhere to plane it, but we're going to cut two slabs, and then we'll epoxy it with whatever in the middle so that I can have how long did we decide?
15 foot?
15-foot, like, table that'll be in our dining room, which will just be, like
an
off the
so it'll be
kitchen.
like a epoxy live edge.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
that'd be really cool.
And it's because I was like, I want a big table because I think that it's more fun when you can sit together. And I know that you can't always do that, you know, in other houses. You have to have separate tables or whatever. But I just want everybody to be able to sit together and we can all talk and
throw cards, throw dice.
Yeah, you can have one game going on at one end, have another game going on at the other end, set up another card table in the living room. People can be up in the little loft area. Yeah, so.
Well, let's take the excuses out of the family.
Yeah.
And you know what? You're right in the middle of the family too, so nobody can say, "Hey, I don't want to drive to Moscow. Don't want to drive from Pullman." Exactly. About 45 miles, maybe not from the folks that live out in Washington. Maybe that might be closer to
No, that's about it's about 45. Like to the Harrisons is an hour, I think. So it's so yeah. But yeah, because I think it's silly, all the excuses and well, you know, being my younger brother, that I like to be in control. So if it's my house, even better, because I would make the rules and there would be,
boy.
What? No, not like that.
That's my place. I make the rules here.
But that's what I was saying, is that there would be none of that, like, you know, where it's like, this is my house, I don't want to talk about that. Be like, well, it's not your house anymore, people, so you got to talk about stuff.
Yeah, especially
or go pout in the corner. I don't care.
Yeah. Maddie really loves our big family, so she's trying to gather her family around our family.
Yeah. So. Well, yeah, and that's exactly right. Like, her dad is obviously going to be invited to all this shenanigans that we're going to have, so we got to have room for him too. And then
that's
like
what we're talking about. We gotta grieve that what the family used to have is dead. We got to build something new.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Christmases of the past are gone. Let's not. Yeah. There's hurt, so let's deal with it. Let's move past it.
Yeah, and for sure, like, all these people are just like kind of giving up, like, you know, our aunts and whatever, and that's fine. Except for I'm just thinking about, like, when we have kids, they're gonna have a totally different feel, and I think that's silly, because Christmas or Thanksgiving or Easter or whatever, any of those get-togethers were so much fun. That, like, for that to be gone just because people are tired of being a family is just kind of silly to me.
Oh yeah, I remember any of the get-togethers. I would. Oh, sorry, you go, Nolan.
Well, like our kids, the aunts would be Matthew and Maddie, and like it's not like
the
called him an aunt.
The aunts would be me and my wife.
That's
I'm
right.
trans.
That's right. But like, it's not like we look at it now as the aunts and uncles above us, but they will be kind of like, I didn't really do a whole lot with my great aunts and uncles.
Oh, but see, that's different for us, because we did do stuff with our great aunts and uncles.
Okay.
Louise and Boyd were always at that side of the family. Aunt Millie obviously was at our side of the family, so we did have like the great aunts and stuff.
I mean, some of mine were around sometimes, but it's not.
I mean, yeah, they don't have to be involved in everything. You know, like a birthday party, not everybody in the family needs to be invited. But for Christmas, I don't see why we can't all just get together. It's Christmas. Like, that's the one time a year people actually do get together as a family, or Thanksgiving or whatever. And
and I remember whenever we'd have like a family event, I'd ask Mom, like, are Reagan and Grant going to be there? Like, yeah. And then I'd load up like a duffel bag full of like my Army toys and stuff like that. And then Grant and Reagan would get there, and they'd have duffel bags full of their Army toys. It was great. I look forward to playing Army on Thanksgiving. Go play Army till it's time to eat and change your clothes. And
my gosh. Speaking of that, because just...
I don't know, that's all we did. And then they got really into farming. I was way more into playing Army and war than playing farmer.
Do you remember in the basement over at Grandma's, there was like that accordion door that we broke, and then we weren't allowed to move off the couch for the rest of the time? I think we broke something else of hers too, and we were in trouble for that for the rest of the day.
Well, at least you didn't get blamed for pooping behind a door.
Like somebody.
You You get blamed for taking a deuce?
My mom's little tiny dog pooped behind a door, and I got blamed for it by my grandma.
She goes, it's little. It had to have been Nolan.
That's right. It's in the perfect dog pile. It had to have been him.
Oh my goodness. Oh. Yeah. I still have to try to remind him. Go to the toilet, not behind the door.
Hey, what's he doing? Nolan's behind the door. Your grandma's blaming you for crapping behind the door.
That's wild.
Who did break the door in Grandma's basement? I remember we were playing tag. And
I don't even remember who broke it. I think it was just from us running.
Was trying to close it.
Probably, yeah. We were playing tag and nothing against like Grandma or anything, but that's like another thing. Like our house is going to be pretty tough. So I'm just guessing between you guys and us, we're going to have some rambunctious children. So it's going to have to be tough to stay standing. So
yeah, I remember everything I broke, and I was thinking about that today while I was doing the dishwasher. I was washing a coffee cup that I really liked, and I was like, man, I remember I broke like a bunch of stuff. So I guess I'll just have to be okay. I broke Mom's wedding knife cutting my birthday cake.
Oh, I remember that.
She always got ice cream cakes for me. I always loved ice cream cakes, and it was still frozen, and I was forcing it. I broke her wedding knife just cutting an ice cream cake. She was chill about it.
Off of it?
Yeah, no, I just snapped the blade in half.
Snapped right off. It was weird.
I was like heating it up with hot water and then slicing into the ice cream cake, heating it up with hot water, and I was near the end of my cut, and I was like really pushing, the blade just broke in half. I was like, dang. So, you just break stuff. So I was thinking about that, and I was doing the dishes. Like, I'm going to have to, luckily I'm nothing I'm, too attached to. Like, if it got ruined tomorrow, I wouldn't be. So I don't think Mom and Dad were like that, were they? I don't think I broke anything of theirs that they were really pissed off about.
I don't think so. Yeah, not that I can think of, though. But, so that's the main idea around our...
Build it sturdy. Kids are going to break stuff.
Yeah,
I'm a klutz. I dropped a mason jar in the kitchen 3 weeks ago. It just slipped out of my hand. But hey, we're klutzy people. We need to have klutzy kids.
I made lemonade, homemade lemonade. Juiced them all, and then wanted it to be raspberry lemonade. And nothing broke, but the amount of a mess that I made, mixing, dumping, stirring... It looked like a bloodbath. I mean, there was red just everywhere. I was like, why did I think this was a good idea? Anyway, so I'm clumsy too. I guess that's just...
Oh, I hear sweet baby Roscoe.
Yeah, I don't know what he wants. He has food. He has everything he could possibly want. But so that's kind of that was like our main, or mine for sure, main.
Yeah, what was on in your head?
Yeah, and then...
We're not going to, just openly share to everyone all of our plans, I guess, and progress.
Yeah.
Is that what we've decided?
Kind of, yeah.
You're not going to do daily reports?
Well, just like anything, really. I mean, because it's gotten kind of disheartening, we come up with something or we talk about something and then we share it because it's exciting for us.
With anyone.
And then it's just poo-pooed on, or like, oh, that's not what I would do. Well, it's not your house, so...
Friends, family.
Yeah. So we've decided we're going to be a little more closed off with it. I mean, obviously people are going to know stuff if we have them come help or whatever. If we have, work days, or they'll know stuff. But for the most part, we're just going to keep a lot to ourselves. And once it's done, then people will see it. But other than that,
the cat's crapping, isn't it?
That could be our sign that could be the sign to end this thing off.
Anyway.
Do we have 20 minutes of usable material yet?
I think so.
We're at minute 10.
We were going to talk about animals, though, too, I thought.
Oh, yeah. No, we have a couple of things. We can have a break there when the cat started taking a deuce.
Yeah. Where we look around like, is that really as loud as it sounds?
I know Nolan's anxious to get to his football game. And
it just depends if we can live back here in
just
about
breathe through
30
your mouth.
seconds or not.
Breathe through your mouth. But so for sure we have 2 pregnant goats. So 2 of the 3 girls are pregnant.
Two of the 3?
Yeah.
Did you take him somewhere, or did you guys get a
No, I bought a
male
buck.
goat?
I have a buck.
Buck?
Yep.
Okay.
I bought him at the sale last year. And so I have like the little gal. So they're all together. And there's like a little one. She would only be a year coming up in April. And I was hoping that he wouldn't breed her because she's just too young.
Too young.
From what I can see, she's not bred at all. So that's good. So it's the two older gals, the mini Nubian and the mini Guernsey. And they're pregnant. And so, yeah, we've got to get them a little house built just for the two of them so that when they have babies, they're separated and a little
What's
bit
the
more.
gestation cycle of a goat? Is it going to be like March?
It's 5 months, and I think they got bred middle to end of September.
Ooh, okay.
So just like elk, because he was doing, like we were in the rut, and then he was in the rut too, and I was like, oh, okay, this is interesting. Because, like they say that if they are all together all the time, they're just like deer or elk, where the ladies will allow that to happen or not happen when they want it to. Because I was like, there's no way I'm going to be able to keep him separated because they all just run around together.
And they're agile creatures. They'll jump up. Yeah.
Yeah. And he's kind of the protector. Because he's a boy. He has horns. So, like, if he needed to do anything, he probably would. I mean, he steps forward to general when he runs around him. So I think he would do something. I mean, he's only 2 feet tall, so he wouldn't last long if there was a predator. But he's just there. So I was like, I don't want to keep them separated. And so watching them all last year, that is what seemed to happen. Like, they went into heat. He was in the rut, doing the elk-like things. I mean, he's a goat, but it was what they do, peeing on himself, rubbing.
If another goat was peeing, he went and stuck his head in it.
Yeah.
Oh, man. And he's all anxious about
it. His neck hairs were always just fluffed up. Like, all around. It almost looked like he had a mane. And I was like, this is getting weird. It was like an R-rated movie out there for a while. Anyway. So yeah. So it's going to be fun that they are bred. I'm a little nervous.
Middle of February, huh?
Yeah. I'm a little nervous, though, because...
We're hoping we're in our cold spell now and not in February.
Not right in the middle of February. Otherwise, they'll be sleeping in the wood room, huh?
No.
They're going to have to. They're just little guys.
I know. They're going to be teeny tiny. Oh, my gosh. Because they're already so small themselves. They're just going to be little guys. I'll send you pictures. They're going to be so cute. I just hope that they, nothing goes wrong. In March. Yeah, that's true. They'll still be little when you come in March. Oh, they'll be so cute.
We can do a live showing then if we have time.
Yeah, exactly. And we've decided we're just going to choose since it's only 2 of them pregnant and they might have twins, we're going to choose our 4 favorite people and then maybe dwindle it down to 2 depending on how many baby kids we get. And then gifts. Those are birthday gifts. We're just going to give them away as gifts. So
can you imagine?
Hopefully you either end up or do not end up as a favorite person, or you might be getting a little kid for your birthday.
Can I tell you something? Jeffrey Dahmer got his start killing animals. He didn't have empathy towards animals.
Are you going to kill a baby goat?
Neither do I. I've never got the death penalty for dog stuff. I just don't care. I'll eat the damn thing.
Death penalty to dogs?
No. People are always like, anybody that never mind. Cut this part out.
Hurts animals?
No, not hurts animals, because it's going to make me sound like a dog beater on the internet here. No, but people always be like, I never cried in that movie until the dog died. It's like, homie, 7 humans died before the dog. The dog is what made you sad?
You didn't cry in Old Yeller?
No. You know what? Last movie I really did get emotional watching? That movie War Horse? If you can watch that without feeling sad at all, you got to be a Navy SEAL or something, man.
You're gonna watch this guy. If they have babies and one of them's a girl, he's gonna turn into the biggest weenie that there is.
He'll be like your dad.
He'll be crying all the time. That puppy just looks sad.
I think I'm a little better at public speaking than my dad is.
Well, I'll admit on here in front of 2 or 3 people that
3
watch
people.
or listen to this.
The 3 of us.
That the amount of time, I mean, I guess most of the time the ducks that we've lost has been my fault, and it's made me emotional.
This is true. He's
The
not
last-
an emotional fella.
The last one was for sure my fault because I left the birds out, and General was out, and he obviously chased one around, thought it was fun and games, and then he killed it.
Did you beat the dog with the duck?
Oh, yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
Because I went up to, like, I went out and grabbed him, got him off of it, I guess, or brought him in.
You brought him in, and then you went and got the other ones in their
cage. Because then I went up to put the others in the cage, and then she came out and picked the duck up, and then I don't know what she did.
Which, then I realized I probably couldn't have been too mad at him, because he is a bird dog, and we did not do the training necessary for him not to eat the ducks.
Mm-hmm.
So really, it was our fault, but also he needed to know that that wasn't okay. You can't. But I'm also thinking, we have this Great Pyrenees that's supposed to be our livestock dog. She was just sitting there watching him eat the duck. I'm like, what are you getting paid for?
Too.
What are you getting paid for, ma'am? You're supposed to be protecting the livestock.
Yeah. I got that from our uncle. He's had some okay trained dogs, but his dog killed a chicken. He said he beat the dog with the chicken until there wasn't much of the chicken left. And the dog doesn't eat chickens anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
like,
they have to learn.
You probably can't put that on the internet. I think if you touch your dog with anything other than a kiss, the internet hates you.
Well, that's fine.
Well, we don't care about the internet.
That's because those people have dogs that you go to their house and they're jumping up, putting their paws on your shoulders. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's like the new norm. Just let the dog live.
Yeah.
If I come over to your house and your dog's jumping up on me, I'm going to leave. I don't like that, man.
Yeah.
Dogs don't like me.
Was he going to leave if he comes out here?
I don't think he
does your dog jump up and put his paws on my shoulder?
She doesn't jump, does she? Does she jump on people when they come? I guess I'm never
so.
outside.
I don't think she does. I think that's just
she only jumps right away, and she's just excited. And that's
She's a little dog.
And then
Bonnie.
she's little. She would knock you over.
Bonnie's not a little dog.
No, I'm little in age, I guess. She's a big
little
dog.
in age, but she's huge.
Well,
and I can probably put my knee in your dog's chest when it jumps up, and
I
not like mean, but just like let them know that's not.
Yeah,
well,
that's
they need to know.
That's what I do to Bonnie. Like she comes around and like yesterday morning, she came around
very dramatic
and jumped, and I like pushed her with my elbow or fist in her
squealed.
chest, and she came back at me and jumped up, and I stuck my knee out in her chest, and she kind of squealed, but then the rest of that 10 seconds I was with her, she stopped jumping. And then General, he jumps on me because he thinks we're playing a lot of the time, but I don't really think he does it to other people very much. He does your mom just a little bit because she puts her hands out, I think.
Like, don't jump on me, and then he thinks, so he definitely needs more training.
He does. He's not well trained.
Well, in some ways he is. He's pretty good.
Like whenever we feed him, we make him sit, and then he sits there and just looks at his food. And he won't go at it until we say his name. Like we can say other names, random words.
Even the other day, I was in the middle of talking to Nolan, and I was like, and that's just annoying in general. And he heard General, and he did stand up, and then he looked at me because he's like, I don't think that was in the right context of my name. I was like, oh, you're such a good dog. I wasn't even like, I needed to be paying attention to what I was saying. But he was a good listener. It's good for him.
That's
but yeah,
good. They're all young. They'll learn.
Yeah, but yeah. So you like if you move to the country, which you plan on it at some point, right? Like if you can, you're only going to have like
will be the little property on
no
River Drive there.
No, I don't think so. I think I'm going to be buying this over here, and I'm logging it, and I'm guessing I can coax these two into just starting a compound.
I say we buy it, we log it, we pay for it, and then we sell him a small parcel for the same price we paid for the whole thing.
Don't tell him our plans on
a couple of steps. You can make money off me.
Yeah, but you're going to have, like, just cows or pigs. You're going to have stuff you're going to eat, right? That if you have anything, just the things you eat.
Yeah. My wife, she said she wants a resident cow, but I don't think she's never shoveled cow crap and then fed them. She's never seen how much a cow eats.
Have you seen those, like, little fluffy guys? They can't be that much work.
Little fluffy Highlanders.
Yeah, but they're like mini. They're like mini. They're like the size of my dog.
They're probably like $20,000 for one, and a coyote's going to eat it.
No, you have them inside. People keep them in their house.
Well,
inside?
You wouldn't keep it inside.
I don't even like cats in the house.
But you would have a little barn and a coyote wouldn't eat it. Especially if you're my neighbor. You've got Bonnie. Bonnie would protect your cow. Hopefully better than she protected our duck.
I don't know if you guys know this, but there's a severe lack of money involved in my
I'm talking situation. Years down the road, you goon.
Okay.
You're going to be a plumber. She's going to be a pharmacist. There's not going to be a money problem.
Yeah, you're going to be paying for our lifestyle.
She's going to go out of pharmacy school just in time for the birth of our children.
But with our goats, we're thinking now if we have 2 that we're milking, I mean, we're going to be overrun with goat milk. We'll probably no longer have to pay $100 a month on raw cow milk.
Yeah, because one of those little goats, those little things can do almost a gallon a day. Isn't that crazy?
Man.
And that's like what they say after they feed the kids. So they actually produce more than that a day. Which is crazy that a tiny little goat like that can produce so much.
And then if you keep milking them, they don't dry up, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you just...
Yeah.
I've heard that the dairy cows are like that. If you don't milk them every day is it every day you have to milk a cow?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, then they start to dry up if they go 2 days or 3 days.
But the thing is everyone's like, oh, you have to do it at 4 a.m. or whatever. But that's not the case. It's just when you start at a time, that's the time you have to do it. So you can start at 4 a.m. Or you can start at 6 or whatever, and then that's just what you have to stay on the schedule, because otherwise they start not feeling so good.
Yeah, it would start hurting, being too full.
But the nice thing about having a kid is if I did miss a day or whatever, the kid is still taking the milk. So it's not like it's not being milked at all.
But once the kid's not milking anymore, then you'd have to be more.
Yeah, then you have to make sure you do it every day. And then...
Is it twice a day for a goat or just once?
I think it's just once.
Because a cow's twice.
I think some people are twice, but I think that's because they're not feeding the calves. I don't think it's twice a day even for a cow.
Oh, okay.
But I'm not sure.
The commercial dairies are.
Well, that's because they're... the more you take, the more they produce. Just like any kind of model.
Oh.
The more you take, the more the body thinks.
So if you get them going, you can. Yeah. That's the way you can get more milk out of them.
Yeah.
See, that's why I need kids. I don't want to have to milk a damn cow every day.
Well, Nolan, at least for our little goats, guys, we found this nice little milker because apparently we're lazy. We found
this
nice
a little attachment.
It's like a 12-volt portable.
Yeah, it's milker. Like a cow one, but it's for goats. Mm-hmm. And it just fills up like a little half-gallon or gallon bucket, and you dump it out, and then you go on to the next goat, and so it'll be fun.
We'll see what it's like. It's new.
Yeah, it's very new, and so we're hoping
it'll be a crash course.
We're hoping the little babies are born healthy, because otherwise, I'm not sure what I would do with depressed mom goats. I'd have to find a baby somewhere. I'd be like, my mom goat is depressed. I need a baby goat. Does anybody have a baby goat?
I'm sure they're out there.
Probably. Because I would be so sad if like one of them died and then the mom was sad. If Monica or Rachel was just sad because their baby died, I would be sad. I know you're heartless and that probably doesn't make you sad, but it'd make me sad if Monica was depressed, okay?
I'm not heartless. Just animals aren't my thing. I'm okay with that.
That's okay.
I'm okay with that. Animals not being my thing.
I know. I was just teasing.
I know. I've got everybody out there seething. You've never had a good dog. No, I haven't. I've never had a good dog. No. So maybe a good dog would really change my heart.
You've never had your own dog.
I've never had my own pet.
Yeah.
I've never had a pet. I've had pigs. And I mean, stuff you slaughter, but I've never had a pet.
And Chi-Chi was a good pig. I liked her a lot.
My heart did hurt a little bit on the first one. That one was hard. Then after that, he just kind of...
But she was the best one you had, though. So that
was a nice pig.
I think there is a difference of having, say, farm animals or any animals
as
somewhat pets or that you just have versus raising them for food.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like
Like
all
if
these
we get
cats in
stuff
my
to raise
life-
for food, then that's what it is. You just
Yeah, you don't want to get too attached.
Yeah.
Like Stanley, my little steer. Luckily, he's not very friendly, so him and I are not too attached. He doesn't really like me, and I try to give him love, and he runs away.
When's he due? Is he due being in October, or is he next
it
Next
looks like
time of
spring.
year?
it looks like he's hardly grown. So
We're trying to
I
figure
don't know
that
what's
out.
going on with both of the calves over there. They just still look like calves.
They're teeny tiny little things, so I'm
So-
not
Well,
sure.
what has it been? 7 months? 6 months?
Yeah,
I mean, and
they
they're-
would have been a couple weeks old.
They're eating hay. They were
end of May.
grazing. They get some grain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But
Maybe you
hopefully-
just have to turn him into veal come
I
springtime.
want to. Hopefully, I can get him. We can get him out here this summer, fall. That would be ideal.
Get him
somehow.
eating some green stuff.
I don't know how.
Mhm.
Like, I don't know how exactly if he would just free range out here by himself, or if we can get some sort of fence.
Mm-hmm.
But putting a fence up anywhere out here while trying to build a house, if that happens,
While making
seems
money.
like a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
While working a full-time job.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
so
you're
we'll
running
see.
out of hours in a day.
We'll
While
see what we get
milking
accomplished.
goats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's why we need the machine because it does it
Yeah.
way quicker.
You're
Oh,
already out
goodness.
of time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Speaking of out of time, looks like we're out of time for today.
Let's-
Okay.
all right.
Yeah. We'll talk
we
more
we
about
milked
this.
another, not milked. We got another
Let's
30
call
minutes
it
of convo.
Call it a podcast
Okay. Well, we'll see you next time.
See you
Bye.
next
on
Tuesday.
the Totally Off Track podcast.
We are
Totally
off
off
track.